It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Wednesday show, June 18th, 2025. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, pound that subscribe button. Over 83,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you're watching on X, good afternoon to you as well. Braylon Edwards along momentarily. And Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you, buddy. You know what? Today's one of those days, you know?
I know. I've been getting a few of those here and there. The weather don't help either, right?
Well, I'll tell you, we just had a tornado warning.
I saw that.
In Macomb County. Warren, Sterling Heights, and Fraser. Tornado warning.
Down goes Frazier.
Do you know the difference between a warning and, Pete Spivak? I want you to know what kind of team player Pete Spivak is, Ricky Burns, my goodness. So a warning is when they've seen one.
Yeah, right.
Watch is when there's conditions for some.
So we had the bad one.
So in the 1 o'clock hour, if you are watching live, in the 1 o'clock hour, the National Weather Service in Detroit issued a tornado warning for Macomb County, Fraser, Sterling Heights, and Warren. That has since been lifted.
Nice.
But I was over at Fox 2 doing the stream over there, the 1 o'clock stream. It was pouring like crazy to get here. I've mentioned this before, but Southfield Road is a disaster now. Greenfield is also a disaster. 696, also a disaster. So I don't know how to get here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I hear you.
Crapshoot.
It's just like, and then to top it off,
No parking.
there's no parking.
It's zero.
Now, I don't mean to levy a bunch of complaints around,
It's
but
just
I'm
that.
just trying to give you a
These
little
are facts.
insight.
These are all facts, though. We agree with you.
Just giving you a little insight as to what's going on over here. So, one of those days. Mad, you having a good day today or not?
Could be could be better. Could be better. I'm happy that the Panthers won. They won the Stanley Cup. That was good. 10 people watched it, I think, and 3 people care about it.
Yeah,
I'm one of them. I'm happy for them. I wish other people were as well. Tigers.
I'm happy for him. I mean, when you're talking about a back-to-back Stanley Cup championship, right?
And 3 straight final appearances.
That's crazy.
What makes people, and I know there's nothing you can do about this, but 3 straight finals appearances for Florida, they won 2 cups. I believe Tampa Bay had 3 straight appearances.
And they won 2.
Before that.
Yes.
So you're talking about 6 consecutive Eastern Conference championships for a state of Florida team. That is dominance unlike anything we've seen in the state of Michigan. Yeah, baby. I was just going through the litany of weather, of construction, and parking. So we're just having some fun. Weather,
Hi,
construction, parking.
What's up, man?
How you doing,
man?
How's everybody doing, man? Sorry I'm a little bit late, man. Like you
I
said,
just said the same thing.
it sucks that we live in a state that you see so much construction, yet you never see anything get done.
Right.
That's one thing I hate about my state. Like, it just is what it is. You see barrels, you see orange, you see construction, you see detours, but you never see anything really, truly get fixed. So that's what we're dealing with. Side note, man, Dr. Pierce is legit.
Hey,
yes.
you were there.
So this is how my morning went. Shout out to all our sponsors. Randy Wise, they came and picked my truck up. They were late.
Shout out.
That's why I'm late, but they fixed my car. Oil change, be back tomorrow. Dr. Pierce fixed my tennis elbow. They did the little ultrasound, saw what it was. I was worried, Ryan, that I had a torn ligament. Shout out to Jeff Pierce. Shout out to you, Pete.
Good job,
What's up,
Pete.
Ricky?
What's up?
But yeah, I was afraid that I had a tear in my elbow. They were able to use the ultrasound, see that it was not torn.
Good.
Thank God.
Good.
So there's a little inflammation there, you know what I'm saying? But just stay easy. Was debating the injection because, as you know, I won't be here this weekend. I'll be golfing out in Oregon. Injections or the laser. We had Dr. Lindsay come in not too long ago with Dr. Pierce, and we've decided to laser today after the show, laser Friday, and do an injection if needed when I get back in town.
I love that.
But I will say this. Shout out to Dr. Pierce. He made sure this morning he had to go all the way to Monroe, but before he did that, he came to his office to make sure I was good, and then he reached out to Dr. Lindsay and told Lindsay, said, no, you got to be here. Dr. Lindsay was on his way to Dr. Pierce's office, but he wasn't get that. He was not going to get there until 1:45. So we're going to do it after.
That's awesome, man.
This is why you partner
works,
with the
too.
people we partner with. This is why we bring you. Ryan, you say this all the time. We partner with certain people. If you want to work out, you go to Planet Fitness. You want to get a car, you go to Les Stanford or Randy Wise. If you want to find out what's going on with your body,
And Feldman.
then you go, and Feldman, who will be on Friday, or you guys will be on Friday.
You hungry, go to
Dr.
Buddy's.
Pierce, you hungry? We got the best pizza in
it.
the
Go to
state,
Buddy's.
maybe even in the nation. Go to Buddy's. We partner with certain people because we want to bring you the best, and that's what we've been doing. White Claw Tigers Tour.
Need a lawyer? Call
Ben
Ben.
Johnson, man. Call Ben, man.
Need a massage? Go to
Ben the
Massage
fighter,
Chair House.
baby.
Just
I'm,
run 'em- just run 'em off.
Sorry I'm late, but I think, the weather and everything speaks for itself. I'm excited, Maz. I'm excited for 3 o'clock. Got a special guest at 3. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
prepped it.
special guest at 3. It's very exciting.
100%. Other than that, man, let's rock it. Oh, you see my guy. I called him before the season started, but
We'll get to that in a minute,
neither here nor
okay?
there.
We'll
I
get to that
almost
in a minute.
got- I almost turned into Maz.
Proper due. Braylon, we were talking about, Stanley Cup was won last night. It was like
Congrats to the Panthers.
If a tree falls in the forest, did a tree actually fall?
Yep.
It kind of feels like that in the NHL right now. I don't think the ratings will be that great for this at
They
all.
were horrible.
What Miami is doing, what Florida is doing in the NHL, what the state of Florida is doing in the NHL right now. 6 consecutive appearances in the Stanley Cup Final for a state of Florida team. 3 for the Panthers, 3 for the Lightning. And
4 cups.
I think that is bad for hockey. I'll just say it. I just think it's bad for hockey, and it's a reason why nobody's watching. Not to say that these teams are doing anything wrong. You can talk to me about the no state income tax, and I know Gary Bettman had some things about that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying when you have a non-hockey city, a non-hockey state, who's playing hockey in Florida?
Nobody.
Nobody's playing hockey in Florida.
Baseball, track, football.
That'd be like a team from Wyoming winning the NBA championship every year.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be good for the sport.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just calling it like I see it. I think there's sports like football that don't need markets, don't need market sizes, don't need specific teams to be in to be good. Anybody could be in the Super Bowl, and that Super Bowl will be watched. But not here. And it's not even the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's the Edmonton Oilers, which, unless you're a kid of the 80s or something like that, you really don't care. I mean, the Yzerman, the
Gretzky,
Messier, Fuhrer, Yari Curry.
It's a lineup, man.
Yeah, that lineup notwithstanding, but nobody cares about Edmonton either. I mean, they have the best player in the world on that team, and even that doesn't mean anything. I think you got to get Connor McDavid out of Edmonton. Seriously, if they care.
Yeah.
You got to get Connor McDavid out of Edmonton. You've got to do something about these Florida teams winning. I don't know what that is. Maybe make it easier for a Boston, a New York, a Detroit.
They all had their shot at Florida, and Florida beat them all.
Exactly. Maybe make it so, the NBA has fixed their league so that Patrick Ewing goes to New York, so that
Chris Paul doesn't go to L.A.
that LeBron goes to Cleveland.
Luka goes to
Luka
LA.
goes to LA. They've kind of maneuvered things. Does the NHL need to start doing some things? Like, let's start with when's the last time Detroit actually moved up
Never.
in the lottery?
Never.
Exactly. How about moving them up in the lottery?
Yeah, you started the question, and I was literally going to go to everywhere you went, so you answered the question. I'll just double back on what you said. Like, you have to present this game so that fans can get involved. You have to do what the NBA and NFL does. Look for accusations, but this is an accusation. It's the truth. The NFL makes what happened they need to happen. The rules that need to change, they change. The things that they need to slip under the radar, they slip under the radar. The NBA, the trades that they need to happen, Adam Silver will make happen because he learned from David Stern. This guy is going here. This guy can't go there. This team can't have that. Like, this is what leagues do. It's for the betterment of your society. And for lack of a better word, maybe the NHL is on their high horse and, we do things the right way. Well, that's BS because you, like you said, won't move the Red Wings up. Last time I checked, the Red Wings are an original 16. The Red Wings are a team that brought you much joy in the 90s all the way into 2009, maybe 2013, give or take a year or so. This is a franchise that you can't give them a second pick. You can't give them a third pick. And I understand people saying, well, you shouldn't give you anything. The Red Wings earned a first pick, a second pick, a third pick. They earned that with their play, which was horrible, over a 10-year period, notwithstanding last year maybe, if you want to say that. So I think that you got to just have some balls, excuse my French, and you got to do some things. Do you want people to watch your sport? Because we've been talking this since 94, since the lockout of 94, NHL has never recovered. That's BS. Because MLB has recovered how many times? How many times has Major League Baseball recovered?
Thriving.
Thriving.
Exactly.
100%. Yep. So what's the excuse? NFL, you see what they're doing. The NBA, you see what they're doing. Pay attention to your colleagues, the other three of your colleagues, and they get it right. Find a way to get it right. This is completely on the NHL. Nobody watches. Nobody knows the times. They don't put it on ESPN so you can see Sean McDonough cover the game.
There's another one, Bray.
Like, I can go on and on. This is all coming from Maz, by the way. I just remember very good. But that's where I'm at with it. Like, if you want to change your league, if you want to change the eyes, you have to change the league. It's up to you. You have the power. Negate some trades. Negate some things. Chicago Blackhawks, you can't have the number one pick and get Connor. We'll give Connor Bedard to somebody else, a team that needs him. So they got to change some things because they're getting blown away. MLB might be passing basketball, realistically.
Potentially.
You can't put your product on the finale. You cannot put it on TNT or a cable network.
Can't do it.
It's got to be on a big boy network. Yeah. Now, listen, the way ABC really treats hockey isn't great anyway. It's because people just they're not buying into it. And like Ryan said, 6 straight Florida teams in the final, it's a lot. It's a lot. I appreciate them. I appreciate the team that, they put together with the Lightning and the team that they put together in Florida. And they beat, one of the best players in hockey, and that's Connor McDavid and his buddy Leon Draisaitl. Without Leon Draisaitl, this is a sweep. The Oilers won 2 games in overtime, 1 in double overtime. One time they were down 3-0. Wow. They came back. Florida should have swept them. So here is Connor McDavid last night after the game. Here he is, very disappointed. 1993, the last time a Canadian team won the Cup.
And can you just take us through what you think happened tonight and why you guys weren't able to?
Lost to a really good team. Nobody quit. Nobody threw the towel in. They're a heck of a team. They're the Stanley Cup champions back-to-back for a reason.
What's the difference in the series?
Obviously their forecheck was great. They tilted the rink. They were able to kind of stay on top of us all over the place. Never really able to generate any momentum up the ice. We kept trying the same thing over and over again, just banging our heads against the wall. So, credit to them.
Hey, they are the 3rd team to lose back-to-back Stanley Cups. You go all the way back to the early 70s, the St. Louis Blues, the Bruins, it happened to them in the late 70s, and now it happens to the Oilers in back-to-back years. That's a tough pill for Canada to swallow.
Maz, let me ask you this question, you know what I'm saying, because you've obviously tapped in. I watched last year. I watched a little bit this year, not like you. What is it with the Edmonton Oilers going against the Florida Panthers? Are they outmanned after their top 2? Is it the coach? Like, how's the coach in this situation? They just only have those 2 players. Is that what it is?
They have a nice team. They have no goalie.
Okay.
And they haven't had a goalie since the manager, Ken Holland, was there. I don't understand why this team doesn't sell out at the deadline and get a goalie, because Skinner and Pickard are not the guys. And now on the other hand, you got
like the Bengals?
Yeah.
Essentially?
They can't finish. Sergei Bobrovsky, he could have won the Conn Smythe. Conn Smythe goes to the MVP. Sam Reinhart last night, guys. 4 goals last night. The last guy to do it, Wayne Gretzky. The guy before him, Mike Bossy.
Yeah.
And he didn't win the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
He didn't win it. It went to Sam Bennett, who scored 15 goals in the playoffs. That's amazing.
Jeez.
Guess what? He's a free agent, Stevie.
How many games did they play? How many games did Edmonton and
They went 6 this time.
6? How many games did Florida play initially?
Okay, I would average 5, 6, 12, maybe 23 games, 22 games in the playoffs.
That's an amazing clip. That's an amazing clip. 15 goals.
You know, and Maz, you're a guy, and this might be blasphemous for, traditionalists or straight up hockey fans. I'm in the entertainment business, okay?
Yeah.
Like, you could talk about, this sport is great and everything like that. But what do I always talk to you about? There has to be a story. And the story right now is a bad one for the NHL.
Yep.
That is what's transpiring in the NHL. You have your best player in the smallest market in hockey in Edmonton, Connor McDavid. We still believe he's the best player in hockey, yes?
1 goal.
Okay, so that says a lot. Your best teams are in the state of Florida, bad for hockey. Yeah. Everything about it is bad for hockey. I mean, just look at the plan. Where were the Detroit Red Wings? Not in it, right?
Home.
Where were the Chicago Blackhawks?
Not in it.
Where were the Boston Bruins?
Not in it.
Where were the New York Rangers?
Not
At
in
the
it.
crib.
That's bad for hockey.
Canadians at least were the only originals to make the playoffs.
That's
And you don't
bad.
care about realistically either one of them.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you look at the entertainment value, and guys, that's what this is all about here. Entertainment. And I know there's the diehard sports fan that's there. It's a story. What's the storyline? It's a bad storyline in the NHL, and that's where, for all the problems you have with the NBA, for all the issues you had with David Stern, and hell, even
Adam Silver.
with Adam Silver a little bit. Yes, you have this now. We'll see what you have next year.
Right.
If you had this OKC in Indiana, if you had this 3, 4, 5 years in a row, look out.
It's a turnoff.
Well, I'm saying watch what Adam Silver would do in that NBA.
Right.
And you just saw this year, what did they do?
Luka.
They desperately tried to get Luka Doncic and the Lakers to the NBA Finals. Why? Because they don't want OKC in the Finals. It's a nice story one year, but this
I don't think that's it. I think they want LA in the finals, and they thought Luka would get them
That's
in the
exactly
finals.
what I'm saying.
I know, but OKC is still okay. Dallas still okay, and look what they did to Dallas. We're going to gift you the number 1 pick in the draft, which is Cooper Flag.
That's it.
I mean, if you don't think that's a fix,
You're making
my point.
Ryan's point.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
just
okay,
saying.
okay.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just screaming out loud what a fix it is.
Yeah.
That's all. And today's the anniversary that the Knicks got Patrick Ewing.
With the frozen envelope. Look, you know,
Yeah.
everybody talks about Nico from the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And
Nico Harris.
Yeah, Nico Harris and what he did and what he didn't do and blah, blah, blah. It
Wasn't his
goes
fault.
because it wasn't him that pulled
Right.
the trigger. You don't have, no GM in the league. No GM in the league has a type of stroke that legitimately he can call another team and say, I'm about to trade the number 1 player in the NBA, if you want to talk about offense in terms of box office draw right now, is Luka Doncic
Yeah.
when he's on with the
By the way, probably the number 1 player in the state of Texas.
Agreed. Unless you want to talk
Besides
about
Victor.
unless you want to say Micah Parsons. Last time I checked, Micah hasn't gotten to the Super Bowl. Luka's been to the NBA Finals. Now what he did there is different, but he made it there. In the middle of the night, and then the deal's done the next day.
Yeah.
That's a type of power only one person have. It is the commissioner of the NBA.
No.
There's 2 people that have that power. One is LeBron James and the commissioner of the NBA. But it's the same. Michael Jordan had that power. That's the type of power you get gifted in that space. Mike
Yep.
just never used it, though.
The commissioner is second.
Yeah.
You know who's first.
To LeBron.
That's all I got to say.
And Maz, we talked about this a little bit.
But he didn't know about the deal.
Oh, no, not at
Remember,
all.
he didn't know.
Oh, no.
Right.
Not at all.
We talked about this a little bit last week. Every time I see a champion crowned or a championship series, and I'll do the same with the NBA, and the answer is a lot better than the answer that I'm going to tell you right now about the NHL. I look at the championship series, and I say, where does my team fit into that?
Yep.
I'll watch the NBA Finals, and I'll say to myself, man, the Pistons are not far away from being on that level and playing in this series. I watch the Stanley Cup Finals, and I say, damn, it is going to be an awful long time before the Red Wings can compete like that. What say you?
Pistons need their J-Dub. Pistons need their Pascal Siakam. Like, the Pistons are right there. I agree with you. When I watch this finals, I'm like, Pistons aren't far off. Like, they wouldn't beat either
Bobby
one.
Portis.
They wouldn't beat OKC, you know, and for what it's worth, they wouldn't beat Indiana. I know you're looking like, well, I think they wouldn't beat them. But they're right there in terms of beating Indiana. You got to worry about your conference first. I think the Pistons are right there. J9 comes back this year. We'll have beef stew, see what moves they make.
They can go 6 with anybody, though.
They can go 6.
They can.
Not OKC.
Maybe not.
Let's stick to
in the East. I'm always sticking with the East.
In the East, they can go 6 with anybody.
Yes.
They can go 6 with anybody, but they got to make that next move because they're not the only team that's coming up. Because there's a team in Florida, speaking of Florida, that's right there, and that's the Orlando Magic and Paolo Banchero, 100%.
Yeah.
That's Paolo Banchero, but you said stick to the East.
You're right.
Orlando in our division, in our conference, that's the team that's going to get better. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Moritz Wagner. We got to get that guy, that stretch wing, because when Halliburton's not on, Pascal Siakam's giving you 30. He's giving you 35. He's giving you 40 totals of rebound, points, and assists. That's the guy the Pistons need. I don't know who it is. I don't know where it is. That's the guy they need.
Maz, obviously the Pistons are closer to playing in the NBA Finals than the Red Wings are
Absolutely.
to playing in the Stanley Cup Final. But nonetheless, you watch that series every minute of it. And how far do you feel the Red Wings are from playing?
They're so far.
Yeah.
They're so far. They don't have an it guy. And there's talk about, hey, the Wings are going to re-sign Patrick Kane. Okay.
Great.
You know who I would
How old
re-sign?
is Patrick Kane?
God.
I would sign Corey Perry,
Right.
the 40-year-old. He's been in 6 straight Stanley Cup finals. He's lost 5 of them, but I'll just take it. Maybe he can get you to the freaking final. I don't know. Sam Bennett is available, and I would put anything I got to do to get that guy here in Detroit, because I don't think Florida or Tampa Bay will repeat, will go on. I think it's over after this year. I do.
I'm glad you said that. Florida, back-to-back champions. They've been in 4.
It's over.
They've been in 3.
Tampa Bay 3 before that.
6 straight.
Already right now, Carolina Hurricanes have the number 1 odds to win. Florida second, and then the Edmonton Oilers are third. Already, why wouldn't Florida be picked to win back-to-back? It's the Hurricanes.
Carolina is going to be a good one.
They've been here for 5 years. They've been
Florida knocked them in the mouth.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
This could be the year that Gary Bettman maybe pulls a David Stern / Adam Silver / LeBron James.
He needs to.
And I do look. I said this. I hate to be a broken record. Gary Bettman believes that the fact that the state of Florida doesn't have a state income tax isn't a big deal and is a nothing burger. I think it is. Even just look at Kevin Durant. Did you see the 3 teams he wants to go to? The 3 teams that his personal lawyer or whatever is trying to broker a deal with. You know what 3 teams those are?
Houston Rockets,
1,
Miami Heat, and
2,
San Antonio
Orlando.
Spurs. Texas, Florida.
What about Texas and Florida?
No state.
Of all the teams in the NBA, of all 30 teams in the NBA, you pick 3 of them that you want to go to. What's the one thing that all 3 have in common? There's not one team that is outside. They got to do something about this. I don't know what it is.
Trump's got to do something. Just
Well,
eliminate
he's got-
state income
he's
tax.
he can't do anything on the state level.
Right.
It's got no bearing on the state level.
Thank God.
It's the governors.
You want to pay state income tax?
You
still?
want everybody? You want them to pay state taxes now?
No, I just want them to maybe perhaps make the playing field a little bit. If you have, if you're Edmonton, where half your friggin' salary is going to taxes, or if you're Los Angeles or New York, where half your salary is going. You've played in California.
I have.
Talk to me about that contract.
Right. Yeah, he took a lot of money from me.
Right, exactly.
Took a lot of money from
if
me.
you've got an opportunity to go play in California or an opportunity to go play in Florida, where are you playing?
Florida.
What I'm saying is there should be some concession for those teams that live in high-taxed areas to raise their salary cap a little bit so you can go over that threshold.
Also, I agree with you, Ryan, because at the end of the day, hockey is the one that doesn't pay. Like, they pay, but they don't pay on the scale closer to the other 3. So the fact that they don't have to pay that much already anyway, and there's no state tax, Ryan, it is really helping those teams out in the NHL, and that would be the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers.
No doubt.
They should just open corporate offices in Florida.
Right.
Pay them out of there.
Right.
There you go. Put up a couple
Exactly.
pictures and go on a couple trips.
Guys, Braylon Edwards had a wild prediction at the start of the year, and I think it's time that we recognize and revisit what he said, what was so outlandish that it has basically become true. We're going to talk about that coming up next. But first, and a surprise guest at 3 o'clock. But first, a message from Les Stanford, Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford Buick GMC, great offers for everyone. How about this? Get a 2025 Envision Preferred all-wheel drive, $259 per month. How about trying out a 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation, only $169 per month. Don't forget about that 2025 Hummer EV SUV, $699 per month. Whatever the vehicle you choose, get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory. Press and hold on that QR code, and Les Stanford's inventory will pop right up after one more click. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together, let's drive.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey guys, do not miss out on our Sports Injury Insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Braylon was there today. You know I go twice a week.
Support him.
The
Stand
best.
by him.
I'm telling you guys, get out there to Livonia, check him out. He is there to keep you in the game and performing and playing at your best. You don't have to be an athlete like Braylon. You can be a schlub like me.
It's true.
Get out there and get well. MichiganSportsandSpine.com, 248-426-9944. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
100%. Check this out. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour. Now, the game may get rained out today, but you know what? They're not on the board today. It's June 29th at the Old Miami. Brought to you by Ben Johnson Law, as well as White Claw. We want you to get in on the action. You saw El Mago last night. Woo! Wouldn't you want to watch that with us? Riley Green goes yard as well. Wouldn't you want to watch that with the crew?
Wenzel
Woodward Sports,
Perez.
the heavyweights, Wenzel Perez, little Ryan, little Maz, little Ricky, little Pete. That's what we want you to do. June 29th, come on down to the old Miami. And then July 11th, we will be at Second Best to wrap up the White Claw Tigers tour. Man, you want to say that you were a part. And by the way, the Tigers are still, that's right, number one in the majors, not just the AL. So come on down, have fun with us, man. Brought to you by White Claw and Ben Johnson Law.
So here's the deal.
I think they're 10 games up.
Yeah.
9.5, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it, they lost a half game. Shucks.
Here's the deal.
That was the Cincinnati Red series.
Here's the deal with a bold prediction. I have kind of a rule when I make a bold prediction. You can't just say stuff to say stuff and, oh, yeah, like this is the Detroit Red Wings are going to sign every free agent in the offseason and win the Stanley Cup next year.
Yeah.
You just can't say stupid stuff.
Yeah.
A bold prediction should be backed up by some sort of true gut feeling or some really good indicators that lead you to be in that spot, to have that position. I'll give you a for instance. A lot of people believed that I was absolutely crazy and the dumbest person on air when I said that Aiden Hutchinson, when it's all said and done, will have more Heisman votes than Kenneth Walker. And that ended up being true. Here's why I said that. Because if you just look at the grand scale of things, Michigan football is Michigan football. It is such a huge brand in that sport that Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, USC, you know, these
Texas.
teams mean more in the grand scheme of things than other teams do. And that's just a fact. I'm sorry if you disagree with it. I'm sorry, but if you do disagree with that, you're wrong. Okay? So you've got that. My feeling was that Michigan was going to have a really great year. My feeling was that Michigan was going to win the Big Ten championship and go to the playoff. If Michigan did that, what I expected them to do, their best player was going to be in New York on that stage for the Heisman Trophy Award. It was just by chance, it just so happened to be that their best player that particular year played defense. Their defense was the reason why they would, in my mind, win a Big Ten championship and ultimately make a playoff. So, Michigan wins a Big Ten championship, makes a playoff, best player up for the Heisman. Who's the best player? Aiden Hutchinson. That's the reasoning behind that. And you could agree with it or disagree with it at the time, but that's my line of thought. So we did this prior to baseball season. We all had bold predictions. Braylon Edwards says Javier Baez is going to hit 300 this year. And I kind of rolled my eyes, and I was like, this is a situation where Braylon is just saying stuff. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and this is just one of those cases where he's just throwing something out there to generate a conversation. Braylon Edwards, I need to apologize to you. And even if Javi doesn't hit 300, even if we end up and he doesn't hit 300, I think you've already won that bold prediction. You've already won.
Yeah.
Right here and now, you've won that bold prediction. He is hitting 289. He's got 35 RBIs. He's got 12 doubles. He's got 9 home runs. You've already won that bold prediction. You just he very well could be the MVP of the team.
Yeah.
He could be. Everybody wanted Alex Bregman in the offseason. Javier Baez is that free agent signing in the offseason. That's what it feels like. That's
right, I like that.
That's the punch.
I think I said that yesterday.
That is the punch that he has packed in this lineup. Javier Baez. He could be the midseason MVP for this team. I don't think they're 20 games over 500 without him. He has played every position they've needed him to play. He's been a force at the plate, a dominant force at the plate. And you, my friend, are today's winner for bold prediction of the year.
I appreciate that. Look, man, it wasn't a Nostradamus moment, if you will. I just looked at it this way. When Sky Harris first came in, Sky Harris talked about Javi Baez. His first presser, Maz, if you remember, he brought up Javier Baez. He brought up the pitches he swung at. He brought up his relationship with Javier Baez. He called Javier Baez out when he first got the job. So, boom, mental note. Thing two, last year, you start to pay attention to the locker room and the vibes. You know, I thought it was Javier Baez and his play that was kind of affecting the Tigers early on in the season. You find out he's this great locker room guy. He's this great guy. Great guy, great team guy. He's an older veteran for these guys. He's been around. He loves. Then you think about the marriage situation, how his mind was fractured, all these things. You start to think about life. And then the hip. Like, I don't know if you guys know about hip injuries. If you get hip injuries, usually your career is over. Like, usually if you get a hip injury that's serious enough, the career is over. But what do? Shorten the season last year. He plays 80 games. They have the surgery. What does Sky Harris do? Bring him back. He brings him back, and I just saw the interaction. You start watching spring ball a little bit. You start to see the swing changing. You start to see the love that he's getting from the team. You start to see the interaction before the season even starts. I'm like, I think Javi might get back to some good baseball. Now, look, I went over and above with the 300, but I had a feeling that he was going to play much better this year. I had a feeling that he was going to be a part of that locker room, and it's just rubbing off on each other. Like, everybody over there, I know you're going to get me for that one, but there you go, I appreciate it. But everybody in the bullpen, everybody in the locker room, everybody in that dugout, everybody is rubbing off on each other, and they're playing some great baseball. 9.5 games ahead, and Javier Baez is a part of that, man. He stayed the course, and sometimes it's more than what you see. Sometimes there's more there than just bad play. And sometimes it's something that hinders your bad play. I played with a couple of teammates that legitimately – I remember Joe Juravicius, man, in 2008.
He was a giant.
100%. Joe was 6'4.5", 6'5". Actually, Joe was a stout 6'5". He's about the same height as Calvin, if you will. Like, Joe can play. And Joe was methodical, and I saw him dropping passes and, you know, kind of running wrong routes and things of that nature. And I'm like, what is going on with Joe Juravicius? This is not the guy I know. This ain't the guy I watched at Penn State. This isn't the guy I watched win the Super Bowl with Tampa. Joe had a staph infection, and he had some other things in his mind. You find that out, you get to the heart of the problem, and you're like, oh, man, like there were other things going on that hindered his play. And I kind of think that's what it was with Javi Baez. And also, he's around A.J. Hinch. We keep talking about this coaching staff, A.J. Hinch, his road dogs, as well as Chris Fetter. Like, this is a great team. It's a great organization now. They put their arms around Javi Baez, and he's having like a Jared Goff moment. For lack of a better word, Jared Goff, when he came here, you know, we saw what we saw. What was it, man? His hands were too small.
Yep.
Oh, we saw he's a stopgap.
Fumbles.
He's a filler. He fumbles. He does this. You don't trust him when you're outside and it's cold outside, or you're on the road or in the big game. And slowly but surely, it goes away. And now he's come to the point where we trust him, even with no Ben Johnson. At least we believe so. And Frank Ragnar, I think that's where Javier Baez is trying to get to. I think he's trying to get to a space where, you know what? Forget what was said, forget what was. This is now what is. And Javier Baez has found himself again to the tune of 289, 9 home runs, and 12 doubles, like you said, Ryan.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to watch him. And he's really in the groove right now. I was at the game last night. He hit 3 hits last night, 3 out of 4, 2 home runs. And what did I say yesterday? I said, I think Javi's going to hit for the cycle. I just threw that out yesterday. When he gets a single, 2 straight homers, 1 off the top of the wall, which could have been at least a double or a triple. I'm happy he got the home runs, and you know, if he didn't hit the cycle, that's fine. The Tigers did enough to beat the Pirates, and you got to beat the Pirates. You must trash them. But this guy is a guy that the team loves. If you remember, when the Tigers were making their playoff run last year, he joined the team in Houston just to sit on the bench. He was with the guys.
Big deal,
right? Isn't that something?
That's major.
That's major. And you said it. He's part of the team.
Yeah.
He wanted to be there, and he sees them win now. This guy is a winning player. Played on a winning Cubs team. Played on a winning Mets team. And he played with the Tigers when they really weren't that good. They were pathetically bad. But now they have the right people leading them, and he is right there, and he is the MVP, one of them, right now of the first half of the season. Just what you said. He has won them a few games on his own, and they are rolling, and they got to roll the Pirates. If tonight gets rained out, let's hope it does, because we might get magic tomorrow. It might be Skubal versus Skeens if it gets rained out tonight.
Yeah, 100%, man. And yeah, the other thing you look at too, man, is like, I watched Javi Baez. Like, I was living in Chicago when they played the Guardians. It used to be the Indians. And they played the Guardians, and they won that World Series. First time they had won in, 118 years, man, or something crazy like that.
Yep.
He was an intricate part of that World Series win. Intricate part of that playoff run. Damn good player. To have that type of pressure, to win in Chicago with all that pressure of not winning for 118 years, and you know those fans in Chicago, to do it against another organization that hadn't won in 104 years, to last 7 games, he was a part of that. That's something that you always remember. So that bring that here, this is something that these guys can feed off of. This is a little something you could pass to Riley Green, who hit a bomb last night.
Wow, it sounded like a cannon when he hit it.
As soon as you sent it, I don't know who sent it into the group chat because I didn't see it live. Man, I heard it because you know how, like, when you do X's on delay, you see it before you hear it. When you heard it, I was like, that's not the same hit until you see how far it went. But that rubs off on guys. They start to pull from that. When LaDainian Tomlinson, who hadn't won a Super Bowl, but at the same time had done what he did in his career, when he came to the Jets, I was, what can I pull from this guy? What conversations can I have from this guy? You know, what's your routine? What do you do? And I think that's what the Tigers were doing last year, unbeknownst to us. Now this year we see it.
Wencel Perez is a hitter too, by the way, guys. He does not get a lot of credit, but he can hit.
Add him to the list. Here's the list that I'm going to give you right now, okay? Let me ask you a question. Here is my concern with the Detroit Tigers. Now, I am Tigers baby all the way. I think they are going to win the World Series this year. Before I move forward with what I'm about to say, I want you to know that that's my position. That's where I'm coming from.
After saying that, you can say whatever the hell you want to.
Here's my concern with the Detroit Tigers. I'm going to ask you a question. This is called best case scenario, yes or no. Best case scenario, yes or no. Okay? Riley Green, start to the season. Best case scenario, yes or no?
No.
No? He's fantastic.
Was it Riley Green's first start this season? Right now.
Is this the best case scenario coming into the season that you would envision for Riley Green?
Yes.
Boy, did he turn it around. Yes.
That's why I asked. Because when he started off, it was like, here we go. But
Just think about where we are right now.
Right now.
Think about the beginning of the season, game 0-0-0.
Yes.
Okay. To where they are now. Is this player the best case scenario or the worst case scenario?
Best.
Spencer Torkelson, best case scenario or no?
Best.
No better. You couldn't imagine a better case scenario. What about Casey Mize? Best case scenario? Can you envision a better case scenario for Casey Mize?
He's 7-2. He could be pitching better, but I'll take it. Yes.
Best case scenario.
Best.
What about Gleyber Day?
Oh,
what about
extreme
Gleyber
Holy
Torres?
crow, yes.
Is this the best case scenario or not?
Way
Gleyber
more than I
Torres.
thought.
Way more. He's almost an all-star.
What about the guy that can't hit lefties, Kerry Carpenter? Best case scenario for him?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes.
Yeah, why not? What about Zach McKinstry?
Oh, way over.
He doesn't.
Yes. Yes.
What
He had
about
a hit last
Javier Baez? Best case scenario for
Yes.
Come on. Best case scenario by a long shot.
him? What
They are
about
cooking.
Parker Meadows? Now think about where you were at the start of the season. We weren't sure that this guy was ever going to play again because of the nerve damage. Is this the best case scenario for Parker Meadows or no?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Do you see him making the catch yesterday? And I talked to the guy next to me. I'm like, he made that like a football catch, like
Over the shoulder.
He's effortless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Effortless in
Ball-
center field.
So you figured maybe a weakness on the Detroit Tigers is maybe a void of bat behind the plate. You like Jake Rogers.
No.
Nice
Dylan
player.
Dingler.
Nice player, but all of a sudden that catching position belongs to Dylan Dingler.
Laser.
He's the next Lance Parrish.
Is the catching situation a best case scenario for this team or not?
Yes.
Guys, every single break has gone their way. Every single one. If you want to get nitpicky and say Bo Brisky or Jason Foley's in the bullpen, you didn't expect that, I'm with you. Fair, because it's a fact. But literally, the best case scenario for each player and each position has happened for the Detroit Tigers throughout the first 74 games of the season. That does scare me a little bit. Now, here's what doesn't scare me. They have such a huge lead in the division. I mean, they're up damn near 10 games in the American League Central. I think it would take, I don't even want to say it, for them not to win this division at this point, because this is who they are. Going back to 31-11, I know it was 31-13 to finish the year, but the last two games, last two losses didn't matter when they had already clinched. So we're going to say 31-11, and then this 47-27 start. There are 40 games over 500 if you combine the start of this year and the end of last year.
Amazing.
40 games over. It's a 100-win team, guys.
That's a 120-win team.
And alls I'm saying is for each player or each position up and down the line, this is the best case scenario, and I just don't know how long that lasts. Fair?
Yeah, no, it's very fair. Yeah, I love how you poise it that way. It just seems like they're getting better and better. And also, too, by having this lead now, Maz, it allows you to tinker with the lineup. It allows you to tinker with players. It allows you to see what you have, excuse me, moving forward. You don't have to just keep the same lineups. You can see what players you have. You can bring some guys up and move some guys around. Like, how many times have we seen Javi Baez start a game in a new position?
Oh, yeah.
Which gives other guys, okay, Parker, let's work you back in. Okay, Carps, let's put you over here. Okay, Winsell, let's do these things. So I think being so many games up, it allows you to see what you have so you're not getting bored. You're figuring out now what it's going to look like in September.
I want to see Trey Sweeney make another run up here and do well. I do believe that kid is going to be good. And that was the trade deadline piece that you got with Lorenzo. So he did well last year, if you remember, into the playoffs, and he had some good hits this year. Sure, he didn't hit for average, and I know his average is real low. He played a good second base. He played a good shortstop, played third base, played second base. Colt Keith is a guy that I want to see pick up his game. But guess what? Everyone else is playing so good, he don't have to. And that's where A.J. Hinch is a genius. He'll come in and put this guy in positions to succeed. Same thing with Carps. We want Carpenter in every day. Any other team in the majors would probably have him playing every day. The Tigers don't have to. And they use him when they need him. I didn't think he was going to play last night. I was sitting with Nick Koloff, our guy, our Tigers beat reporter last night at the game, right next to each other.
Nighttime Nick?
Nighttime Nick.
Yeah,
Nick had a great time at the ball game.
He's doing a great job on
Fantastic.
Tigers. Yeah, great
this
job.
kid is amazing, and everyone knows him in the park, which I just absolutely love. And I looked at him in the sixth inning. I'm like, you think we'll see Carps tonight? He didn't think so. I'm like, I bet you he does. He comes up, he gets a walk. So, AJ, he is pushing all the right buttons. You didn't even mention him, right? Yeah. AJ Hinch, best case scenario? Hell yeah.
He's the best manager in baseball.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I just don't even think it's close.
I think also, too, kind of watching this year, Maz, and you just brought it up, the aggression has changed for the Tigers. The aggression has gotten more, whether it's base running, the base impact things that they're doing. That has gotten better. The hitting has gotten better. The Tigers, although they're the number one team in baseball, they've improved on every single aspect from a playoff run a year ago. Like, you have to watch that. That has to mean something to you when you're like, damn, they're better hitters, better pitchers. They're better pitchers than they were last year. Terry Scuba's at under 1 for the last 10 starts. Under 1. Just throwing that out there.
Everybody in the chat, too, playing along with best case, worst case. And everybody is up and down the line. Best, yes, best, yes.
Jack Flaherty. Where you at at Jack Flaherty? Best or worst?
It's probably
that's a good one.
It's a good one. That's a good one. I'd say under expectation for Jack Flaherty. But turning it around.
Yes.
I would say under,
That's
but
a
not
good one.
completely his fault, though.
No.
Because remember, he
in the
had
beginning, they lost it for him.
100%. He had a game with 9 strikeouts.
Yeah.
He had a game with 11 and a game with 7. He lost all those games.
He's giving home runs up, which I don't like.
Okay.
At least one a game he's given up.
Okay. But that's getting back with Chris Fetter. He did leave last year. He went out there to the Dodgers. We know who the best pitching coach is in the MLB.
Right here.
Sometimes it takes a little second, I think.
He'll be fine.
Wanted to give Ricky a shout. How about ARF in the chat says, good sound, by the way, Ricky. I can hear everyone clearly. Good job.
There you go. I appreciate that, Arf.
You know, we're a positive affirmation kind of day today.
100%.
Positive affirmation kind of thing.
And that's another thing, man. I didn't even think about that. Talking about that championship experience. When it gets to the playoffs, when it gets to the ALCS, when it gets to the World Series, because like Ryan said, you will be there. Guess who was just there? Guess who was just there? You got to have guys that have been there, man. I know you, but you no. You don't know what you don't know. So the guys that do know, it works in those moments, man. Jack Flaherty is a World Series champion as of last year.
Hey, side note, did you guys catch any of the Dodgers-Padres?
I did not.
Well, the Padres, the Dodgers pitcher, I forgot who it was, hits Fernando Tatis.
Oh, shoot.
What is the Padres pitcher? Who does he hit?
Oh, he's going to hit. Hold on. Oh, Shohei.
Oh, Shohei, I saw that.
He hit him hard.
I did see that.
Hit him hard in the leg. And Shohei put the picture up on his Twitter. And you see him grimacing, hitting him in the leg. And you see his leg indenting. Oh. It was on last night, man. It was on. And
you know that
it didn't bench this clear, but I dug that.
Like
big time.
That rivalry is a big one. Like the Padres and the Dodgers. I told you the game that I went to. No, it was the Giants, but I have seen them play as well. The Padres, they don't make any bones about it. They don't like them, and they don't like the guys out in San Diego. Manny Machado is my favorite in that rivalry because he hates everybody that doesn't play for the Padres.
You know what I appreciated about Shohei getting hit?
There it is.
It was a direct above the knee, meat of the thigh.
Yep.
Like, you'll be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm not going to throw at your head. I'm not going to throw at your arm or your wrist or your hand.
It's amazing that they can do that. You could pick a spot and they hit it. Pitching
meat
amazes
of the thigh.
me.
You know, you'll have a bruise. It's all good, but you hit my guy, I got to hit you, Shohei. It's just something I got to do.
Two big guys, Tatis and Ohtani.
Hey, man, that's what I told you. I was blessed to grow up a little bit of my life in Georgia. You talk about watching Greg Maddux do that night in and night out. I said the fact that he can put those pitches, like, that's where I start paying attention to the skill. It is true skill because the pitches, they can put it where they want to.
He was amazing. Quickest games, too, under 2-hour games with Greg Maddux. Wow. And one more note in baseball before we get off it. The Tampa Bay Rays, it looks like they finally are going to have a new ownership.
Are they moving to Jacksonville?
Some billionaire in Jacksonville is going to be paying $1.7 billion for the Rays.
That's it?
Well, that's it. $1.7 billion.
That's not a lot of money.
In baseball, for the Rays, it is.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So
nobody likes the Rays.
I don't know what's going to happen, but what they're going through now is an absolute horror show.
Right.
You're playing at Steinbrenner Field. You're getting rained out. The sun is like 100 degrees. It's like a little league park. I know it's a spring training park, but come on. And then what the A's are doing out in Sacramento, give me a break, man.
Right. All right, guys. Hey, we're going to take a break. Expect to have a special guest next. And also, I just sent this to the chat. I sent Pete a couple of my fun bloopers that I've had. Those are always fun. Maybe by
I love your bloopers.
Maybe by the end of the show, we'll replay some bloopers. I sent it to the chat. But before the end of the hour, maybe we'll
Sounds good.
Maybe we'll have some fun bloopers. If not, we'll do it tomorrow. But first, a message
from
Buddy's Pizza. Get ready, Detroit. This Monday, June 23rd, we are taking over Buddy's Pizza downtown, National Detroit-style Pizza Day. Join the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz program. We'll do that live from 2 to 4. We'll do it live. Come on down, meet the crew, and celebrate the birthplace of Detroit-style pizza. It's the last day to get the 79 Special. Their iconic 8-square Wisconsin brick cheese pizza topped with 79 Old World pepperoni and Parmesan. Buddy's Pizza downtown. We'd love to see you there. Come on out. Everybody in the chat, I want to see you. Buddy'sPizza.com. Buddy's Pizza downtown.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit Sports Media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 29th at the Old Miami in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, East Town, and Ben Johnson.
Know what time it is? It is time for you to scan that QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward 1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do so, make your first deposit and your first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head and use the code word over there to my left, Woodward 1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Edwards.
The fighter, he will fight for you. Talk about Ben Johnson law. It's justice. It just means different things to different people. But whether it's a settlement or a verdict, justice is always worth the fight. Hence, the fighter, Ben Johnson Law. If you've got a case, contact the fighters at Ben Johnson Law. They are ready today, and get the justice you deserve, because they're tough, they're tenacious, and last time I checked, they are trial lawyers. They don't mind going the distance for you. Join them. Fighter Ben Johnson Law. And if you want to check them out on the website, that is venfights.com.
Hour number 2 of the program, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. We got Ricky Burns. We got Pete Spivak in the house as well. And you know what? We've got some sunshine around here. Boy, it looked so dark outside and violent.
That's driving.
I thought something was going to happen to us over here in Birmingham. My goodness.
They lost power out in the shores for a while.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of the restaurants down on Jefferson, they lost power, and supposedly they'll have it back up by 4 or 4:30.
Okay, so we'll see it on Sunday at 4.
Exactly.
They meant today at 4.
Today. Today.
All right, thanks. Hey, guys, time now. I want to bring in a special guest. This guy is a lightning rod when it comes to Detroit sports fan. We love him. He is Joey Harrington, former Detroit Lion, played with the Lions from 2002 to 2005, third overall pick by Detroit. One of the best college football players ever to play in the NCAA. Joey Harrington
Some
joins
about those
us
third
now.
overall picks, huh?
Yeah, right. How you doing, Joey? Thanks so much for the time.
I'm all right. Lightning rod is not a word that I've heard used very often. It's more, let's see, most hated. Let's see, most likely to receive death threats. That's more of kind of the world that I was associated with. So I appreciate the upgrade in terminology.
Well, you know what, Joey? I'll tell you, it feels like so long ago, but I remember when you were drafted by the Lions. So many people had so much love for you and love for that pick, and it didn't go obviously as you wanted it to. But
that's because there was no Frank Ragnow, Panay Sewell, Kevin Zeitler, Taylor Decker.
That's just it. I think for a lot of Lions fans, me included. I grew up a fan. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But when you see the team that this organization has put together now. I mean, Matthew Stafford went somewhere else, won a Super Bowl. I mean, he didn't suck here. You didn't suck here. The organization sucked here. And I think that's what a lot of fans have come to realize. We knew it was bad, but it wasn't because of the players. The organization sucked. When you look back on your time here in Detroit, and you see the success now that this organization has had. And by the way, it's still only one playoff. We don't want to get too crazy here. It's just one playoff win.
Two
playoff wins in 2 years. What do
You're shorting 50% of it now.
Yeah, right. Right. What do you think back on when you see where this organization was then and where they are 20 plus years later?
Yeah, I think when you're 23 years old and you're brought in to change, 50 years of a franchise, you don't. I think naive is probably a good word to use, right? I literally walked off the plane, and the first person that saw me getting off the off the jetway, he's like, "Hey, Joey, welcome to Detroit. You've got one of the two toughest jobs in the city, goalie for the Red Wings and quarterback for the Lions, and we haven't had a quarterback since Bobby Lane, so good luck, man." And he slapped me on the back, and he walked away laughing. And so, I didn't understand truly what I was walking into, right? So when you give everything that you have, when you work like a professional athlete who's trying to be the best at their craft, and it doesn't, and you're fighting an uphill battle, not just with, the fact that everybody in the league is the best in the world, but you're fighting an uphill battle with the organization and the internal workings of that organization. You don't quite understand it. I think you said, a good thing. Looking back, it's like, all right, I did everything I could, right? And sometimes that doesn't work out, and that's frustrating. I think that was frustrating for all of us. But to be able to look back on that and acknowledge all the effort that all of us put in, whether it was myself or Dom Raiola or Jeff Backus or Roy Williams or Dre or James Hall, or go down that list of guys that were on that team that really put in everything they had. And then you look at what is happening for the team right now. And, honestly, for a long time there was bitterness and resentment on my end, just because of I worked my ass off, trying to do what you brought me in to do, and frankly got run out of town. But it's it took a while to come around and to have that kind of settle in. And man, now I'm so happy for this organization, and more so I'm happy for the city, right? I'm happy for the city of Detroit and to be able to experience a winner and to be able to experience, the joys that come from winning NFL games. That's something that this town had wanted forever.
Yeah, Joey, 100%. Yeah, I know how that feels. Drafted 2005 to the Cleveland Browns. I actually thought I was going to get drafted to the Lions. You guys had 2 first-round picks that year, Mike Williams as well as Sean Cody out of USC. So I thought I was going to be a Lion.
There you go.
But no, I feel you on that. You know, Cleveland Browns drafted in 05, and I felt the same way when I got ran up out of there, essentially. Like, this bad organization ran me out. The hell with Cleveland. I don't think anything positive. I'm still not in the space where I think positively about the Cleveland Browns. How did you get to that space where you just finally say, you know what, good for them? Because I understand when you're young and you go through things like that, that fractures your mental to a certain extent.
I don't think you've ever said a good thing about the Cleveland Browns.
And I won't. I'm glad.
It does.
PTSD.
You don't understand it until you go through it, because people only see what happens on Sundays, right? They don't see all the work that goes into it. People don't see, like, you as a quarterback in the NFL, it literally has to be your life, right? So if you say, I'm going to completely focus my life around this one thing, and I'm going to give this team, this town, this organization, everything that I have, and that's the payment you get back, or that's how the response that you get back, which is like, screw you, get out of town. Like, yeah, there's going to be some resentment. To be perfectly honest, it was a moment where I was just kind of sitting there, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm 45 years old. This is, and like you said a moment ago, like this felt like a lifetime ago. I got 2 kids. You know, I got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I'm loving the stage of life that I'm in. I'm loving everything that has come from that gift of being able to play, whether it was, you know, like 7 or 8 years, like my career ended up being, or 15 years. I'm loving everything that has come from that gift of being able to play in the NFL. And did it turn out like I wanted it to? No, it didn't. But part of getting old, part of, you know, I'm not going to say maturing, I don't know if that's the right word, but is being able to come to the realization, personal growth, is to be able to come to the realization that, you know what, life doesn't always work out how you want it to. But the only thing that you can control is the effort that you put in and how you handle the things that come out of it. And you know what? I did everything that I possibly can, and there is some truth to the fact that time heals all wounds. Well, time heals most wounds. And so I think it was sitting there and watching that first playoff game where I was like, you know what? Good for them. And it was so funny. My youngest, my 13-year-old, who was not, my oldest was born when I was in my last year in the league in New Orleans. Okay. My youngest knows nothing about football, knew nothing, never experienced my time in the NFL, and he was laying on the ground, and all he knew is that I played for the Lions. And he was laying on the ground, feet up by the fire, and was chanting, "Let's go Lions, clap, 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 clap." And I was looking at him, I was like, you know what? If he can do it, then I can do it. And so that was kind of the moment, is watching that first playoff game with my youngest and saying, you know what, there's something that I need that growth, and I need to let this go, and let's celebrate a city that deserves some NFL success.
Hey, Joey, it's Maz. Thanks for coming on with us. You're a pleasure to have. And I still have got a number 3 jersey at home, by the way. Just wanted
He's not lying,
to let you
Joey.
know I do have one.
So you're the one.
I do. Hey, I think Pete next door here, my audio guy, has one as well.
Audio guy.
Most of them got burned. Most of them got burned in a like bonfires. I think is pretty much what I saw when I left town. So that's vintage now.
Yeah, how'd you feel in 06 when he came back here with the Dolphins on Thanksgiving Day?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't angry and I didn't want to, put my foot on their throat. It was an interesting experience because we beat them pretty good. Yep. You know, it wasn't a blowout, but by the end of the third quarter, we were up a couple touchdowns, and we didn't run the ball in the fourth. Or excuse me, we didn't need to throw the ball in the fourth quarter. We ran it every single time, and threw 3 touchdowns. You know, got the Phil Simms, peach cobbler thing, which loved it. I loved every minute of it. But we got to got to the the post game interview, and somebody was like, "Yeah, you threw three touchdowns, but you only threw for like 220 yards. Like, it really wasn't that big of a deal." I was like, "You know what? Screw you! Like, this just solidifies everything that I felt coming in. Like, there was this bitterness and like." Which really, I mean, which is part of why it permeated for so long, and it took the innocence of a 13-year-old laying on the ground chanting for the Lions for me to say, like, it's time to turn the page. But at that point, oh, that was the best tasting peach cobbler I think I've ever eaten.
No doubt, man. I know a lot of Lion fans were rooting for you that day. I know a lot wanted to see you get crushed too, but you won that day, and I was happy for you. How was it working with the Mooch, Mariucci, and Matt Millen? I mean, was it a crazy time for the Lions? Did they get along? Were they on the same page with you?
No.
Yep, I knew that.
No is the best way to describe that. And a lot of the stuff that I know now, I didn't learn until, 5, 10, even like 2 years ago. The one thing I can say, and I reconnected with Coach Mariucci a few years ago, Steve was a fantastic person. Steve was, like, Mooch was the nicest guy. And he was a good football coach for his time in San Francisco because he was able to allow that veteran group of guys like Jeff Garcia and Bryant Young and T.O., guys who could control a locker room and already had a culture in place. He was great for that group because he was fun and got along well with the players. For our group of young, high-drafted screw-offs, he wasn't the right guy. And that's fine. It's okay to say. It doesn't make him a bad person. It doesn't make him a bad coach. It just means that he wasn't the right fit for that team. And the irony, too, is, like, everybody was, wearing paper bags and fire milling. Fair. I mean, fine. He didn't do his job in terms of putting together a great organization. But of all the people that I interacted with during that time, he is one of only 2 or 3 people in that entire place that I stay in touch with. Wow. And because even if he didn't win, he was a stand-up human being, and he would stand there and say, I'd talk with him every week, and he called me John Joseph, which is another story. But he's like, all right, John Joseph, here's what you did well, here's what you didn't do well, here's what you were great at, here's what you sucked at. Take it as you will. Let's move on. Like, and there was an honesty and a transparency with Matt Millen that I think a lot more people in that organization could have learned from, and frankly could have led to some more success.
Wow.
Yeah, 100% enjoy it. Let's not focus on NFL for too long. Look, man, you were on the cover of one of the most iconic games of all time. In fact, every time I looked at this cover that's on the back wall right now, NCAA 2003, all I can think about is they got it wrong that year. This is the very first year that I was on the game, and I was like a 70. I sucked. I couldn't catch a cold. But just getting back to college and Oregon, talk about what that means, because now I feel like ever since your run at Oregon, you get drafted 3rd overall, 2002. Phil Knight, he puts the billboard in Times Square. In 2001, I want to say, Oregon hit a boom. We lost to them in 2003, and you see all that they've done ever since. Just talk about Oregon kind of since because I feel like you were the igniter to what Oregon has become.
It's funny, and I know you probably felt this way. All of us, when we were like freshmen in college, we wanted to play, right? But that was one. But exactly, you wanted to be on the 3 deep so you could be on the NCAA football game the next year. Like, that was the goal.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that was a pretty surreal time in life for a lot of different reasons. And yeah, you're right. That was a time when Oregon, I'll say, exploded onto the national scene, but those building blocks had been put in place before that, right? Yeah. The first person that I think of was Bill Musgrave, right? He took us to our first bowl game in like 173 years, and Bill played for the Broncos and the Niners for a little bit and has been a coach in the NFL for a long time. But Musgrave's team led to the teams that that played in the Rose Bowl against Kajana Carter
and
Penn State, and that team turned into our recruiting class, which then became the Heisman campaign and the Fiesta Bowl and the NCAA college football, right? Those, and Phil Knight got involved in after the Cotton Bowl in '95, and that became the indoor facility, which became the stadium expansion, which became the uniforms. There were stepping stones that were put in place. And frankly, we caught lightning in a bottle that year in '01, right? They put up that billboard, the 10-story billboard, kitty corner. Literally, you walk out of Penn Station and you are smacked in the face by me standing in front of you. And for 6 months, in the epicenter of the sports world, kitty corner from Madison Square Garden, that's where we stood.
Yeah.
And some people said that's the greatest marketing ploy of all time, and some people hated it because it was in your face. But you know what? Had we gone 6-5 that year, it would have been you wouldn't know about Oregon football, because we would have been crushed. But we went 11-1, and not only did we go 11-1, but we got left out of the national championship.
I remember.
We got left out, which almost kind of created more buzz.
Was that the Nebraska? And then they snuck Nebraska.
That was Eric Crouch.
Exactly, I knew it. They shouldn't have been there. They got beat by Colorado. They got blown out by Colorado.
In the Big 12 championship game. That's right. So there were a lot of things that fell into place for us, and they've capitalized on them since. But the one thing that, and I'll be the first to say it, we got facilities, we got uniforms, we got all the stuff that you look at from the outside. The one thing that we don't have is we don't have a national championship yet. You can point for all the things that fell into place to get us onto this college football national stage. There have been, whether it's the BCS choosing Nebraska, whether it's Dennis Dixon tearing his ACL, whether it's Bo hurting his shoulder against Washington. You can pick. There are 4 or 5 different things that have kept us from winning a national championship, whether it's Michael Dyer's knee, against Auburn, Dennis's ACL. We have been that close to getting that elusive national championship, which I think is the one thing that is keeping us out of truly, and I said it, the blue bloods of college football. The Michigans, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the USCs, those programs, they have national championships, and we don't. And we need that to truly, I think, solidify our place in that club.
Joey, you did our segue for us. You couldn't have done it any more perfect. Talk about it. You are now in the same conference as the teams you mentioned, Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. Talk about Oregon last year coming into this conference, and, they did what Oregon typically does.
Well, I think you guys are probably regretting bringing us in.
A little bit.
If I'm being honest,
little bit, number 3. A little bit.
No, honestly, it's the way I describe it is I love the Pac-12 or Pac-10 or Pac-8, but that's because I grew up on. That's what I grew up on. I grew up on the Rose Bowl. I grew up on Pasadena, Pac-10, Big Ten,
Michigan.
on New Year's Day. That was I went to the Rose Bowl and watched Bo Schembechler's last game as the head coach of Michigan.
Tyrone Wheatley.
Oh my God! I love that part of college football. Wow. But I think we have to acknowledge that college football, as we knew it, it's dead. It's gone, and it's not coming back.
Yeah.
So if that's the reality that I have to accept, then I'm happy to have a place at the table. I'm happy that the Big Ten said welcome and brought us in to be a part of what they were putting together. So, it's a two-sided coin for me. I'm happy that we're in the discussion, we're in the conference, and get to play against teams like Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State and Wisconsin but I also, at the same time, I miss the Pac-12. I do. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for our volleyball team to fly across the country on a Tuesday to play Rutgers, right? But that's the reality that college sports is right now. And like I said, I'm happy to be included in it. And maybe you guys are rethinking, including us, since we came in and took eight conference championships in our first year.
Hey, we beat Ohio State though.
Right, that's about all we did last year. But I'll tell you, Joey, you and I are almost identical, the same age. We come from the same sort of background. College.
You're 26?
In my head, I am. My wife will tell you I'm younger than 26. But I just, college football to me was always number one. Always above the NFL, always above any sport, college football. That's how high in regard I held that sport. And now I just don't feel like that anymore. And I've accepted the fact that college football has changed. And I you know what, if you're going to blow up college football, I'm glad that the Big Ten has been the recipient of that. But at the same time, I mean, just look at Oregon last year. Dylan Gabriel, what was that, his third team he played for or second? I mean, even the guy we got this year, we got, here at Michigan.
UNLV's former quarterback.
Well, I mean, we got the number one quarterback in the country, not because Sharon Moore is this great recruiter and Michigan was the place to be, but we had more money than anybody else had. And, I'm sure I won't care on Saturdays when Michigan's winning again, but at the same time, it just doesn't make me feel as good. Between transfer portal and NIL, and the spirit of NIL to me, I loved. But it's turned into something that I hate. And for those reasons, I just feel like it's fine. But I used to not sleep if Michigan lost a game for like 3 or 4 days. And now I don't even care. Just
sleep good.
Change the channel and watch something else. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way.
Well, I'll tell you why
they haven't done a lot of losing.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to guess at why you don't feel or why you hate NIL is because there's no rules around it, right? If you're going to, and I feel the same way, like, pay the players. Hell yeah. Like, I can't tell you how much money was generated off a 10-story billboard in downtown, in New York.
100%.
How many jerseys I sold that I never saw a dime for? Absolutely. Pay the players. They deserve it. The universities have profited off them for decades. However, there needs to be some sort of guardrails in place to make sure that it's not just somebody who has the biggest checkbook coming over and writing, taking everybody else's players year by year, right? The NFL has a salary cap and has a system in place by which you can sign, you know who's going to be there, right? I can sign this player, and based on how our salary cap works and what his contract structure is, I pretty much know whether or not he's going to be there. You don't know that from year to year in the way that college football exists right now. It has truly gone. The irony of this whole thing is, the NCAA essentially killed SMU's program with the Pony Express and Eric Dickerson and Craig James, because they were doing exactly what teams are doing, what is allowed to do now. Like the ruling from the NCAA or the courts that said the universities can now directly pay players. Well, that's what killed SMU's program then. And the irony of this whole thing is SMU's been sitting on all this Houston oil money that's ready to go out and do the same thing again. So it's going to be SMU back in the mix because now they're allowed to pay the players as much as they want to. Like it's this insanity that you don't know. Like you said, UNLV's quarterback played 3 games and said, I don't want to play anymore. And now is he at Michigan? Is that the same dude?
I think he's transferred to Michigan. Yeah. I don't know.
Their starter from last year, the one that ended up taking over, he ended up coming to Michigan.
Yeah, I don't understand. We need to have some way to know who is going to be representing us on the field and know that it's going to be done in a way that is, I don't want to say, that doesn't involve greed, but I think that's probably the part that's tainting it for a lot of people. Is It just feels like who's the highest bidder and who can pull out a checkbook to steal somebody else's player away from them.
No doubt. Hey, Joey, you've been so gracious with your time, man. I do want to ask you about this golf that you have this weekend. Braylon is coming out. I mean, we've got pictures on the screen right now of where you guys are going to be playing. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, this looks like a beautiful weekend.
Bandon Dunes is it's my happy place. It is golf mecca. It is as close as you can get to playing in Scotland and Ireland in the United States, and it's right on the southern Oregon coast. And so I've been doing this fundraiser with the Pac-12 for 14 years now, and the Pac is gone. So you know what? It's time to shift over to the Big Ten, and I get 2 guys from each of the schools to come out and represent their universities, and we go out and play some matches and do a little TV broadcast, have a little fun, and raise some money for my scholarship fund. So it's a hell of a weekend, and Braylon, I appreciate you making the trip across the country.
No, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. I just appreciate you got good energy, man, and the fact that Mike is the one that passed the information to you, man. Like, shout out to Mike Hart, man. He and I go way back. He slept on my couch his freshman summer. So, no, man, I can't wait to get out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we just wanted to take you back down memory lane a little bit, man, in a positive way, man. Talk about these Detroit Lions. Talk about this Oregon Duck situation. They came in here and whooped up on my school. But you know what? There's always next year, and today is next year.
Hey, Joey,
That's all right. I appreciate you having the good memories right now, because after this weekend when I whoop your ass out on the course, you're not going to be feeling so good at, you know.
Hey, Joey, last time I checked, look, it's close to Oregon, but it ain't Otson. I may lose in Otson, but I'm not losing at Bandon Dunes.
What kind of golfer are you,
checking
Joe?
the weather report.
He's a quarterback.
What's
you know
that?
he can play.
Joey, what kind of golfer are you?
I'm a 2.8 index.
Oh my God.
Could you, Joey? Could you be like one of those? What is it, Jack Wagner that plays in those Pebble Beach Pro-Ams that he wins them every year?
The Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah.
Not quite. I still get beat by the kickers. That's always the thing. Is the kickers are the always ones who gets beat. But luckily for Braylon, the whole tournament is handicapped, so he may be sitting in a good place right around a 17 handicap. He can get some strokes and bring one home for the Wolverines. We'll see.
Hey, if you need a broadcaster or anything like that for the year number 15, Joey, look me up. All right.
I'm a good cart driver.
Thanks, man. Joey Harrington, guys. Thanks so much for this
Thanks
time.
a lot,
Thanks,
Joey.
Joey.
I really
Appreciate
appreciate
you, man.
it, buddy.
Appreciate you, Joey.
Appreciate you, man.
You bet, guys. Anytime.
All right, guys. Joey Harrington joining us here. We are way over for a break.
Well, you can't get a nicer guy.
He's a great guy. And look, it's one of those things, too. You're
What a
just
great interview.
So happy that you find the peace and you're able to get past all the negative. It's like he said, it's just not worth the negative energy that you waste on it. You focus on your kids, you focus on your family, you focus on the relationships that you've made, what you've built, a life for yourself, and you take that part of it. Other than that, let the rest
And I love hearing about the Mooch and Millen disparity.
100%.
Right.
We all knew it.
Right.
He told you about it.
Right.
He was great. I know people, we got to get to a break. I just, to piggyback on that, I have a podcast where I got an interview coming up with a Cleveland podcast, a Cleveland Streamcast, but just like Joey, I've stayed away from Cleveland for a long time. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to do anything. But I think sometimes when you get in around, you start to realize, I can let that go. I grow up. It's mature.
I had some good times.
100%. And I think where he is where I'm trying to get to, and I think, this year is what I'll try to do with Cleveland. Like, I spent literally 5 years, in Cleveland. Like, I got drafted by Cleveland, spent 5 years growing up in Cleveland. There's a lot of memories in Cleveland. So to just not have that as a part of my life feels kind of weird.
But you're in a good space now.
I am. Maybe better space, though, if I do all that.
Yep.
Exactly.
100%.
You're on your way.
I never know. You never know who you can meet.
If you want to be in a better space, go sit in a mass chair.
You can. It's
it
the
is.
Pharaoh, guys, from Massage Chair House. Check them out. They're in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Of course, just not too far from us, right down on Long Lake and Woodward. Go check them out. The largest massage chair room in the Midwest, featuring Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc. He is the man. He is the creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Once you book a visit right now, it's a test drive, a test sit. Go sit in one of these chairs. You don't have to spend the top dollar for the Pharaoh. They've got many chairs for you to sit and enjoy yourself. 20, 30-minute massages, anything you want. If you got the time, you want to try it, guys. Get there right now. MassageChairHouse.com. The QR code right above my head right now. Upgrade your relaxation game to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights. from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media. X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, it's Stick from Woodward Sports. I'm out here at the Feldman shop, of course, you know, because they are #1 people. And the Ineos Grenadier, that's the new car that they got. But I got my man here, the Sun God. I'm not lying. His name is Amon-Ra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He sold me a car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? Come see us out here, baby. We're in Waterford. We got the pre-owns all day. We got the Grenadiers, and we got new Chevys all day. Whatever you need, we got you.
Yeah, and I went with this one. I like it. 2023 Durango. It's used. Only got like 30,000 miles on it. And this guy, man, I was like, listen, this is my price. You either make it happen or I'm out of here.
Easy.
You know what he did? Went to his boss. He's like, I'm making this happen for this guy. Came back, threw the contract on the table. Now I'm in the whip.
Yes, sir. Sign, drive, 0 down, easy money all day.
All right, Feldman, what's the address here? Do you know?
5300 Highland Road, Waterford, Michigan, 48327. Open until 6 o'clock every weekday except 9 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays. It's 4 o'clock on Saturdays. Only day we're not here for you is Sunday. Every other day we're here to get it done, baby.
And his legit name is Amon-Ra. I'm not lying. It was destined. It was meant to be. Woodward Sports found this guy. So thank you very much, man. Enjoying the car, and the kid likes it too. It's nice and safe.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Make sure you get your new Detroit sports merch right now on the website, shop.woodwardsports.com. It's a new era of sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Tigers are heating up. We're about to sell out of Tiger stuff. You want to get that right now. Red Wings are doing their thing. Get some Red Wings merch. Lions will be here before you know it. We'll be at training camp, man. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. Get your new Detroit merch right now, shop.woodwardsports.com. That's shop.woodwardsports.com.
You want to get in shape? You want to feel great? Let's go to Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. And once again, yesterday you heard what I said. I'm not judging you. I'm not trying to get you to look like me or anybody else. I just want you to feel good and look like yourself. That's what they want you to do at Planet Fitness, because there's no judgment. It's home to the judgment-free zone, man. And the gyms and the locker rooms and the shower, because these are places that matter, especially after 2020. We pay a little bit more attention to bacteria. Guess what? Planet Fitness, squeaky clean gym. Squeaky clean gym. It's good people. It's a good place. Over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. It's the gym for you, because it's the gym for everybody. Do me a favor. Come on down to Planet Fitness. It's fitness that fits into your budget. And have a good time.
Guys, just a couple of basketball notes. This has come down in the last hour, and I find it interesting. I like interesting things. Stephen A. Smith, in an interview with Rolling Stone, this is the quote that was released. Talking about LeBron James. I don't like him, and he doesn't like me. He's one of the greatest players who ever lived. I'm going to show him that respect, and I'm going to cover him objectively. When he does great, I'm going to applaud. When he doesn't do great, I'm not going to applaud. He hid behind his son, tried to make something out of nothing, as if I was dogging his son, which I was not. The real issue was we don't like each other, and he used that as an excuse to confront me. I got it. Whatever you feel about Stephen A. Smith or LeBron James, the central question to me is, can you cover somebody objectively that you don't like?
No.
And I keep going back to this answer. You must.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
In this business, if you are a true analyst, if you are a true journalist, if you're forget about the journalist part, if you're true to your audience, here's one thing that I will know. You may never agree with me on anything that I ever say, but I will never lie to you. And that, because I don't lie to you,
goes a long way.
That, A, it does build a little bit of trust. It does create a little bit of hate, I think. But it also is the reason why a lot of people like me. And a lot of people don't like me. And I get that. It's fine.
I think more do, though.
I think more do because at least you know I'm not lying to you.
I think more do because they do.
And I think for Stephen A. Smith, I think people like Stephen A. Smith. I love Stephen A. Smith. I am a Stephen A. Smith guy. I think what he has done to create a business, and the business is Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
What he has done, there are very few people in media that have ever been able to turn their own brand into a $100 million business. Mm-hmm. You may not like him. You must respect him. He did that. Nobody did that for him. He did that. And I think for him to come out and say, I don't like this person, but I do believe that my job is to call it like I see it, I think is pretty good, because you can kind of see, if he told me that, I like LeBron James, I'd have told him you're lying. You're lying. But I think if you don't like somebody, and I think it's the same way in news, and I think this is where it gets a lot of people in trouble. There's just books written about it too. If you don't like somebody, you must treat them fairly. You must call it like you see it. It is job number one if you have this platform, to me.
Maz, you already answered, so I'm going to let you go last. I'm going to let you run with what you said. I'll say this. You don't have to like anybody, but you got to respect them. You're doing a job, and I believe that Stephen A. Smith has done that as it relates to LeBron James. He hasn't liked him for a very long time. This is not news. This is nothing new. This didn't come down after the situation with LeBron and his son, or what the miscommunication was with
I don't
him
even
and
know what
Stephen A.
happened.
Smith. Well, basically, he was talking about him allowing Bronny to play in this space. He's hurting him. He's not doing good on the court.
Remember when LeBron confronted Stephen A. Smith sitting courtside?
It was because of
the Bronny thing. That's what LeBron said.
Yeah.
So my thing is this: nobody likes LeBron. Realistically, if you want to call a spade, I know a bunch of people in the NBA. I know a bunch of execs. I know a bunch of players. I know a bunch of agents. I know a bunch of cheerleaders. I know the game because of being. They don't like him, but they respect him. They respect him. You may not respect him as. Some people may not respect him, rightfully so, maybe. I don't know. Nobody likes LeBron except maybe Adam Silver. Stephen A. has never, not once, as it relates to covering LeBron, been biased. And because I don't like him, now I got to point to a performance and over-point to this performance. Or because he's so good, or because he's good, I don't like him, I'm not going to talk about how he changed the game, how it was him. Whenever everybody talks about Kyrie Irving and what he meant to that 2016 game when they came back and won, and Kyrie had 41. Kyrie should have won the MVP. Stephen A. Smith always said LeBron James is the one that won the championship. So he's always acted accordingly. You don't have to like anybody, realistically. You don't. Especially in this day and age, 2025. You don't have to like anybody. But if you respect them, it'll allow you to do your job. And I think that's where I'm at with it. Like, you can cover somebody unbiased. How many times I talk to you and tell you it's people that I don't like, but I say good things about.
Right.
Including, who used to be a head coach in Michigan. Mm-hmm. I can separate. I don't want to go too deep. I can separate or compartmentalize what I don't like for approaching the game. Hey, you know what? This coach did this well. This coach was able to adapt. This coach was able to get out of his own way and bring this guy in and this, that, and the third. This guy won a national championship. Kudos. He changed the game. He went to – I can give him that, but also call him a weird, crazy man that I don't like.
Sure.
Like, so if you respect someone, you can be non-biased.
I said no when you first asked that question, right? And, you know, I've been doing this for 28 years, mostly producing, a lot on the air. But I think people know me. I don't have a filter, really. I put my foot in my mouth a lot. I can't help myself. When you bring up a LeBron James, there's something about him that rubbed me the wrong way.
He's fake.
He's fake. I don't like anyone that points at himself and anoints himself king and all of that crap. So if I had to cover him on a daily basis, you know, I'd be in the background. I'm not a guy that's going to interview a guy like him anyway. I'm just not. I'm not covering the Lakers. I'm not covering his teams. So as a guy that's on the radio in the past and now here on Woodward Sports, on video, on YouTube, I can say what the hell I want about him. And Braylon can really say what he wants about him because not only has he been coached by these people, he's played alongside these people. He knows people in the business. I know people in the business, but not like him. So when he tells you something, you know it's the freaking gospel. When I tell you something, sometimes I might have a bad taste in my mouth, and I can't help it. If I ever wrote a book about Detroit, about this media business, I'd probably make some money on it.
Probably have to go into witness protection
I would.
as well.
I would definitely have to go on witness protection. Not a question about it. But it's okay. I do my thing. I have a good time. And I get to talk about sports. And that's my favorite thing in the world to do. And if I could do that, I'm as happy as a lark, man.
You know who you also hate?
Who's that?
The WNBA.
I do.
Look,
I despise them.
This Caitlin Clark in the situation. So she was hit in the face. She was pushed last night. They didn't kick the girl out.
We can play some of the video as we're talking. Pete, if you feel like it.
Just keep talking. I got
it. If not, don't even worry about it.
I've said I don't care about the NBA, and I really don't. It's just such a big topic of conversation.
It's huge.
Christine Brennan, who, Christine Brennan of the USA Today. If you don't know who Christine Brennan is, I'd say look her up. Christine Brennan is probably one of the
great American writers, I would think.
One of the greatest. Yeah, she's one of the great American writers, but she is, probably one of the greatest female journalists of all time.
Yes,
her,
that's
Jackie
what I meant.
McCollum,
yes.
Christine Brennan comes to mind. She's just so pro women's sports. She's like anything positive about women's sports. She's at the forefront for it. I'm just going to read this tweet that she had last night, or post on X. The WNBA continues to fail to meet the moment. Terrible decision to allow Marina Mabrey to stay in the game. People are watching as never before, and this is what they see. Did you see the story last week that the WNBA ratings were down 50%?
Yep.
50.
Yeah.
50%
without her playing.
With her on the
shelf.
injured list. And look, that's real numbers. You say what you want about her. Well, she does whatever. It is what it is. And I have no interest in Caitlin Clark. I have no interest in the WNBA. That, to me, that's not basketball. That's not competition. That's hate. They hate her. And that's how I see it. And nobody wants to watch hate. If you want to watch hate, turn on the opposing news channel that you do not like.
Kidding.
Good
call.
It's basically, how many times do you watch the news? If you're a Republican, you watch MSNBC. If you're a Democrat, you watch Fox. You can only watch very small snippets of those because you hate what you see. Nobody wants to watch hate, and that's how I feel like about the WNBA. I don't want to watch hate.
This is I agree with you. This is my thoughts on it. They definitely have done a poor job of managing the Caitlin Clark situation. Men and women are very different. Men and women are very different. I play sport. I play in the NFL. But let's not even focus on sport. Ryan, let's just focus on being kids. Like back in the day, you get to a fight with a guy you just met. You get into a fight, you can hear about let's take you a step back. You can hear about a guy from a neighborhood over. You can hear about a kid. Hey, man, this kid's fast. Yo, this kid is like the kid. Hey, yo, he can hoop. This 12, 13 years old. Yo, this kid can hoop. You don't like each other. Then you go see them play against each other. Y'all might fight. Yeah. That guy's gonna become your best friend, or he's gonna become a friend of yours, or somebody you hit up like, yo, you trying to hoop? Yo, this week we'll be over here. That's how men. We're simple. Right. Like we can play the aggressive role like we do in all sports, but at the end of the game, we can be like, hey, yo, look, he was killing me out there. Like, damn, I got to go back to the lab and have a good one. Respect. I'll see you next week. So women are not like that. Women start at an early age. They don't like other women.
No.
They fight with their sisters, their cousins.
When they're babies.
100%.
Until they're 100.
Rain is 3.
They will fight with each other and talk about each other.
I'll never forget Rain's second birthday party. All the little girls that were coming in, she was looking like, You don't even know him, Rain. You don't even know him yet.
Yeah.
So women, when you tell them that we're bringing in this individual that is lightning in the bottle, she's going to change the league. We're going to give her jets. We're going to do this. Asia, now you can get your shoe. You can do this. We're going to provide all this. Well, who the hell is she? Yeah. First of all, did you hear everything else I said? Did you hear how the league is going to change? Oh, you missed all that because you don't like this white girl. Right. That's going to bust your ass anyway.
So good.
Right. Caitlin Clark wasn't even hurt. I guarantee you that was her agent or that was somebody. It was like, let's just not play and see what happens. Because last time I checked, when she came back the first game, she had 3 threes from Steph Curry range in 93 seconds. Excuse me, 38 seconds.
Yep.
And let me tell you this about
38 seconds. It's just how they are. It's
fabulous.
It's that part. Yeah. Like, they do not like each other from a young age, and it goes all the way. You made it all about Caitlin Clark. And then the people in the league, it's more than just, well, Maya Moore didn't get that, and Bree's not getting that, Asia Wilson's not getting that. Y'all just don't like her.
Right.
It's female hate at its finest because it's not just black girls beating her up.
No,
if it was just a black girl.
It was the white girl that punched her in the face first.
If it was just
or knocked her out, knocked her from the.
Sophie Cunningham tackled that girl.
Right about that.
If it was just black girls, then I would go back to the race war that was started on social media. The race war between Angel and Caitlin Clark. That was social media. That wasn't them. But it's everybody in this league.
And if you're paying attention,
stupid.
Look. Caitlin Clark, since she got to the WNBA, she's no angel. She's out there flopping. We hate LeBron for flopping. Yeah. She's out there flopping, talking her ish.
She still shouldn't have court though.
She is. She's great, but she plays.
She's changing since she was at Iowa.
She plays a small part in this too. Like, now I don't like her. That's what. But man, I'll tell you. Hey guys,
wait, 1 second.
Okay.
You were talking about how men can really pull it. Pete, please. You'll be okay, bro. I promise.
This is a great show. This is how we do it, man.
Listen, you were talking about how men just forgive each other.
100%.
I watch a show on Apple, Friends and Neighbors. John Hamm.
Oh, John Hamm.
Okay? John Hamm's wife screws his best friend.
Oh, God.
You see the shirt, the T-shirt?
Yeah. He's got to move out of his house. They divorce. He moves in. He's a basketball player. He's great looking. He's African American. She's white. Everything is... Guess what? They're best friends still through the show. 100%. Still through the show, they're best friends. And I know it's TV, but it's truth.
It's a lot in real life. It's a lot of SJ. Man, you ready for the word? What word is it? He's a simp.
A simp. Thank you.
Or as Matt says, a simp. Guys, break time. Do we have those bloopers? You have those bloopers?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. We can either do it today or tomorrow. No big deal. Some bloopers. Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like bloopers and like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in before you know it. You're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media. X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, make sure you stay connected to Woodward Sports on all social platforms, man. We're on Facebook. We're on X. You say, no? Oh, okay. We got X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. Stay up to date with the latest sports news, live updates, and that behind-the-scenes action, man. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button now and be part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network, man. Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, at Woodward Sports. Make sure you follow us. That's at Woodward Sports on all of them. Big.
You got it, guys. Time for you guys to scan that QR code above my head. Head to FeldmanChevrolet.com, which is Michigan's numero uno Chevy dealer with 5 locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. And this month's specials include, check those things out to my left, guys. 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew, you can lease that for only $149 per month. And then you got the 2026 Equinox LT, you can lease that for just $209 a month. Scan the QR code above my head and visit FeldmanChevrolet.com.
I want to thank everybody in the chat. We were just talking during the break. Just a Fan says, great show, guys. Rando Smalls, great show, gentlemen, and I use that term loosely. Crazy Clown, great show. Everybody's saying great show today. We've had so much fun today.
Yeah. Felt good.
I thought maybe we could play one blooper and maybe save the. You got one there? Or no?
I didn't have a
Oh,
chance.
never mind. Never mind. Don't worry about it then. Don't worry.
Why don't you just reenact the blooper?
Sorry.
I can't reenact it.
Are you going to do the Beavis and Butthead one?
I was going to play that.
Oh, huh? That's I can't. I cry when I watch that.
Really?
One. I do.
I was going to show you the Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love the Beavis.
I was
going
to ask Joey, because you see what he said. He's absolutely correct. It was more important to be on that game than it was to actually play. Like, he was like, I got to be on this video game. I want to ask him what was his ratings throughout. Because every player knows your first rating, your second rating, and your last rating.
Okay, now I didn't want to be embarrassed when I asked him about the golf.
Right.
When he said what kind of golfer he was.
2.8.
What does that mean?
2.8 handicap.
That's his handicap.
So he's a 2.8 handicap. So he shoots 76.
74.
75.
74 and a half.
74. Isn't par 72?
Yeah.
Some courses 71.
Almost 75. 74 and a half.
100%. Like, he's right there.
Okay. Well, what's yours?
17.
Okay. And you're damn good.
In my own head.
That's in the 80s, right?
You said what?
That's
89.
Yeah.
Who's the best athlete you've seen play golf?
In person or like on TV?
Like that you know about.
Aaron's good.
Aaron,
I played with Aaron at the ESPYs in 2000. In 2008, we were in the same group. We were in the same group at the ESPYs, and it wasn't fair. Like David Akers, the kicker.
He said kickers are great.
Dave's a 1 to a 2A.
Wow.
Like Dave Akers is really good. Phil Dawson, University of Texas kicker with the Browns, he was really good. Kickers can play. They don't do anything else.
That makes sense. They understand the angles of the balls and how to control.
They just got more free time than all the other players.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Nah, I'm just joking. But typically quarterbacks, kickers, hockey players, pitchers, offensive linemen, randomly sneaky. Offensive linemen tend to be decent golfers.
That's cool.
Receivers, we can play, but we get bored.
I know D-Mac can play.
Hockey.
Yeah.
The hand-eye coordination, they have it for years and years and years.
By the way, if the Tigers you think might get it in, man.
Nah, they're gonna play.
You think they'll play?
Yeah.
It's Tarek Skubal on the hill tonight.
I wish it would get ranked, but if it gets pushed to tomorrow, do they switch the pitchers? Talking about the Pirates,
they probably will.
Yes, it will.
Skubal versus Skeens.
It will be amazing.
So this is a Bud Selig card. Well, not Bud Selig. Excuse me. I went a little further back.
Rod Manfred.
This is Rob Manfred. Hey,
like
cancel the game. Play them tomorrow. Paul versus Terry.
Yeah.
See, this is the NBA stuff. This
That's
is the
what you
NFL.
want.
Roger Goodell would definitely do it.
That's what you want.
All right, Bray, get us out of here, buddy.
Hockey, pay attention. The decision is up to you. What do you want your league to be? Because ain't nobody watching right now, and there's some damn good hockey going on. Look, for Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazaway, Ricky, and Pete, we appreciate you guys for listening and commenting.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.